Some of the staffers from the Fisherman magazine, along with myself, got the opportunity to fish on the new North Coast 41.5 HT. It's a 41-foot fishing and luxury boat. Awesome boat. Got out there and hey, that Block Island tuna bite, they didn't lie about it. We didn't lie about it either because we had some tuna. But even more, Captain Connor, he was captain on that trip. He's gonna give us some tuna tips from how to catch those tuna south of Block Island. Connor, what do you got for us?
So the technique I like to use for jig and pop for these wreck size bluefin, because I have a 31 downy, so I go slow. So I don't do a whole lot of hammering around, chasing after fish. I try and find fish isolated and work them carefully. So I need context clues, to find these fish. If we don't have tons of whales, tons of life, tons of obvious signs, I can't just hammer around the ocean, when a buddy calls me. So I have to get creative. So I look for oil slicks a lot. I look for tuna chicks on the surface, shearwater birds, kind of cruising above the waves. Any signs of life above the water will give me clues what's happening under the water. So the specific technique we like to do, I always set up at least 2, sometimes 3 dead stick rods. That's usually a Ronzi with a fast action tip. So what happens is you stick that rod right in the rod holder. Depending on the tide, you try and set it at different depths, and you just let the boat's movement kind of manipulate the movement of that jig. And that gets a lot of bites. That's almost always the best biting jig on the boat. The more we have that, we do a couple other styles. We do some speed jigging, for fish that want to come up quick on the jig, and we do some bottom sweeping or slow up and down jigging for more of a lazier bite, or if I have older clients or guys that aren't that accustomed to jigging, they work it slow, while some more advanced guys can jig a little faster. And that kind of covers different water columns, different speeds, different techniques. I'll keep an eye on the sounder, and all the pieces kind of come together. I'll try and get some jigs up at the thermocline, wherever that is in the water column, or if we're marking fish lower, we'll try and cover where the fish are and give it our best shot throughout the whole water column. So when we hook up on the jig, on the metal jig, I say the same thing every time. Reel until you can't reel anymore. Almost to the point where you reel until the drag starts taking off. Because so many times these fish come up or they swim at the boat, and you might feel the weight, you might get tight, but we haven't set the hook yet because they're swimming up. So you just reel until you can't reel anymore. It finally gets tight, it knows it's tight. Then you can give a couple hook sets and really knock it in the back of their mouth, you know what I mean? Most important thing, reel, get tight. So the end game is a super important part of this whole process. Once the fish gets up tight, we have a little bit of line, all right? So there's all that load and force is on a much smaller diameter line now, okay? So odds of terminal failure are higher now. Odds of break-offs from chafing, hitting the boat, etc. can happen. So we got to have someone on the wheel who's good, able to spin the boat if we get near the propeller or danger zone. We have to have someone who's good on the rod, able to move around the boat if need be. And really, everyone kind of has to work together. And the final blow is the gaff. You get the gaff in the fish. Take your time. So many times I've seen people reach down, try and force something, they nick the line, they get a bad gaff in the tail, and messes the fish up and you lose the fish. Take your time. Once they're pinwheeling around the boat, we're in control. Once you get a good shot, confidently gaff them away from the line.